Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM, we welcome you all back to our program. Also, those tuning in through online affiliates around the world, including our radio family, we're glad to have all of you with us as well. When I say the name actor Michael Kelly, so many great roles probably come to mind, both for television as well as film. I was just telling Michael, I remember him from great movies like Dawn of the Dead, but he's been able to bring to life a variety of characters, including the character John in a new film that's premiering at South by Southwest this year. The film is called All Square. We'll talk to Michael not only about this project, but also what it's been like for him to do what he loves as an actor, to bring these characters to life, and then to be able to have this interaction with you guys as fans. Now, if you're just hearing about the new film, we'll tell you at the end of our segment how you can find out more information about the South by Southwest schedule. But Michael, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hello to you, Cyrus. Thanks for having me, man.
Look, I'm glad to have you on with us. I want to start off by talking about the reflection, Michael, because, I mean, you have been able to have what so many people would love to have in any career, that's longevity. So what has that been like for you to not only to reflect on this journey, but to think about the great projects you've been able to do?
I think, first and foremost is gratitude, man. I feel, like you said, in this career, to have any bit of longevity is a win. I moved to New York out of college, and I beat the pavement for 7 years before I started to make a living. But I never gave up. I was relentless with my pursuit. I knew it's what I wanted to do, and I knew that I could do it. And my mom and dad believed in me. My siblings believed in me, and that's what I took with me. And I just never gave up. And I feel so grateful, so grateful.
Right. And then you fast forward to this year, Michael, with the film, like, as I mentioned, All Square, that's premiering at South by Southwest. And it really shows the other side. Longevity is one thing, but the idea that you have not been typecasted, that you're not a one note, was that important for you when you began this career to not to just be known for one thing?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, part of me was always like, well, if they're willing to hire me, I'll take it.
Right.
But and I was sort of getting, after Dawn of the Dead and several, I sort of got that hard edge guy thing going, and then once the hair started going, then they started putting me in a suit to be the hard guy, and I was sort of falling into that. Then when my friend Tim Brady wrote this script, and I was just like, he didn't even offer it to me. He sent me the script and just to see what I thought. I always read all of his stuff because I love it. And I was like, Timmy, this is incredible. I was like, you mind if I send it to my team? And he was like, no, sure. So I sent it to my team, and my agent was like, well, who wrote this? Is this an offer? And I said, no, my friend Timmy wrote it, and he didn't offer it to me, but I really want to buy it because it was a different character from what people had typically seen me as. There's even some funny stuff. There's some very funny stuff in it.
Right.
So I really wanted to dive into this character, and I loved it from the get-go. I loved the script from the get-go. What you see in the film is almost exactly what I read the first time. It was done. The director and I and everybody, we all did, little tweaks here and there, but it's pretty much exactly what we read the first time.
For sure. And that has to make it even better for you, Michael, to have, for one thing, to have those relationships, but then, of course, to have projects that you believe in and then to have that trust of other individuals. And I think, as people are looking at this as a film, and like I said, we're going to be telling them how they can be able to get the full schedule for South by Southwest this year, but I think this is one of those projects that people will be able to see themselves in. When you read the character John, when you were kind of able to look at the layers of him, it was one of the things, because one of the things I thought about, Michael, with him is that he is so us. He is so typical us in trying to do a good thing, trying to take care of himself, but also doing like we all do, messing up along the way.
Yeah. That's what I loved about the script is it's so real, right? I mean, it's just, like you said, it is all of us. I grew up in the suburbs of Georgia, and our family had enough. We didn't by any means have everything we wanted. We had enough, and we got by, and parents remortgaged their house. It's a very everyman story, this story and the failures that we go through in life, and you want to do the right thing, but so often you end up doing the wrong thing. And that's John, right? Like he just, no matter how hard he tries to teach this young boy great life lessons, he thinks he's doing the right thing, and but you can't tell a 12-year-old kid those things. So, and therein lies a lot of the comedy of the film. Is that it's like he's trying to do. He's kind of like Bad Santa in a way, that sort of thing where it's like, I think I'm doing the right thing, but you're not doing the right thing.
Exactly. And I think, and I'll talk around this, of course, because most people have not seen it, Michael, but, I think the other side of it is, the consequences, right? I mean, of doing that, of not only, of course, what we find John doing in this film, but also those that it affects, including, as you mentioned, the young guy. I mean, I think that is what makes this film so good. When you kind of look at projects that you are drawn to, are those layers something that do normally appeal to you?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always been, and I've been so fortunate to work with, from Milos Forman to Clint Eastwood, some of the greatest directors out there, and then writers, and then, or a role that you've never played before. There's always something that draws you to a project. Most of the time, though, it's the writing, it's the director, or the producers, right? And in this case, it was the writing was just so, like you said, real. It just felt so authentic and real, and sort of almost a throwback, to those 70s type movies, like a Bad News Bears or Slapshot, or that feeling of just like, well, you're not going to necessarily get like the super happy ending. It's not sad by any means, but it's not like me and Pam Adlon's character don't fall in love and raise the kid together. You know what I mean? Like, spoiler alert, but yeah, there's always something that draws you to a project, and for me, it was on the page for this one, and an opportunity to work with friends. Timmy, the writer, is a great friend of mine. John Himes, the director, great friend of mine. And then I pulled in a lot of the crew from House of Cards because we shot it in and around Baltimore. So I was able to get a lot of the crew, who I've been working with for 6 years on House of Cards, and they were so giving of their time. And, we all did this for pretty much nothing to get to put the best product on the page or on the screen.
And that leads us to this premiere for South by Southwest. We're going to talk more about that aspect of it. Michael, I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're already having a great conversation today with actor Michael Kelly. We're talking with him not only about his amazing journey he's been able to have as an actor, but the new project that you guys will be able to see him in. It's a great film that I think that everyone will be talking about, and the film is called All Square. It's going to be premiering at South by Southwest. Now, there are two elements of this, Michael, I'd like to talk to you about. One, of course, is the film festival, circuit, which is so much fun, these days, to be able to go somewhere, to be able to be introduced to the film. A lot of time, meet cast members, have those Q&As. What has that arena been like for you, to be able to have that kind of close connection with fans?
I mean, I always love it. Whenever we do anything with House of Cards, or just even in my everyday life, if anyone ever asked me to take a picture, which now with House of Cards, obviously it's every day, I always stop. I always take that picture, because without those people who watch your show, well, what are you, So for me, again, it's that expression of how grateful I am, and I'm like, of course I'll take a picture with you. It would take me more time to explain why I don't take a picture. So it's for me, the interaction with fans, and seeing people who really, really like what you do, and it puts a smile on their face. I mean, how good does that feel, to be able to make someone happy, to be able to entertain someone. It's a beautiful thing.
Right, for sure. And the other aspect of this that you're very involved in, Michael, is social media. I mean, could you have imagined, even 5 years ago, that social media would be so important for a project like it is today?
No, I can't. I can't wrap my head around what social media has become. It was, like you said, 5-6 years ago, right? We weren't doing it, and now it's my main source for news. It's I can follow. I'm a diehard Atlanta Braves fan, diehard Falcons fan, and I follow whoever writes about them, and that's how I get all my news on that. I'm a bit of a political junkie. I follow all my political news on there. It's so valuable in so many ways. And then it's also fun, you know, like, heck, I'll be in Austin, and I can say to my, you know, fans or whatever, I'll be like, hey, I'm in Austin. We're going to this bar after the screening. Who wants to join us? You know, like, I'll be doing that. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. I haven't been to, in all honesty, I've been to many film festivals, but I haven't been to a film festival with a film of mine. And, my God, it's been forever. Sundance was the last one I went to, I think, in the 90s. I'm trying to think if I've been to any since. It's embarrassing that I haven't had a film at a film. I've had them at festivals, but I haven't been able to go because, thankfully, I've been working. But yeah, I'm excited. And I've heard, you know, just having shot The Long Road Home this year, I spent some time in Austin, and man, am I excited for that festival, because that town to begin with is a lot of fun, and then you throw the party atmosphere of a film festival on top of it. I just can't wait.
For sure. And again, so many great things are going on March the 12th through the 18th there. As you mentioned, it's great for the South. You know, as a Southerner myself, you know, Michael, I'm glad to be able to see, you know, the city being able to get such a great opportunity each year to be able to bring people in, not only for the films, but also for the music. You know, I noticed something just now. You hesitated in being able to call your fans. You know, I've noticed that a lot in this conversation I've had with individuals lately, that, you know, they almost feel as though, you know, it's almost extended family or supporters. Or has that been something that's been difficult to grapple with?
Yeah, I mean, I think I found myself saying it because you said it.
Right.
It is tough because I think once you call them fans, then you're saying that you're different somehow. You know what I mean? But there are people who happen to dig what I do, and you know. But most of the time, you know, like when we're there doing House of Cards, I don't do much cooking. I'm pretty much, when I leave New York, I go to Baltimore. I work my butt off. Even on my days off, I'm working on my scenes and stuff. And so I end up in the pub across the street or the restaurant across the street at the bar, and I end up having a drink with people who I've never met, and we end up shooting the shit. And they're quite often, you know, people just like me. They just do different things for a living. So yeah, I do have a hard time saying it. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I just noticed, and again, like I said, I spoke to Michael Rooker on the program, Michael, and he had the same struggle. I mean, and it was funny. And he's like, "Well, I don't like to call him that." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
You know, but it's, you know, I think it's just a normal. In my profession, it's a normal thing to say because, you know, I consider myself, you know, a fan of, you know, of individuals. So it's, you know, I found myself saying it for that reason. But
yeah, certainly. I mean, I get it. Like Diane Lane, I just worked with her recently, and I was like, oh my God, I'm such a fan. You know?
Right.
So I get it. I understand it. I can relate, but it's always for me seems weird because I'm like, well, what am I? Like, I don't know. This is weird. This is weird.
Yeah. I get it. Well, it's going to be a great time, and I think the other side of this too is, you know, kind of going full circle, as we were talking about All Square, is that again that we're kind of able to see the family aspect even among the friends in the film, and you talked about even, of course, with the cast and everyone being able to have that type of relationship. I think it is one of those films that will get people to talking. I love the fact too that you're able to address some serious things in a comedy. I mean, is that something you would like to explore more of, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest part for me in doing comedy is keeping a straight face. I mean, those scenes with Pam Adlon, I was like, oh my God, when she lights into me at the kitchen table and says those really incredibly graphic things to me, I mean, I must have laughed in 9 of the 10 takes, cracked up laughing. It's the hardest part for me. And you know, some of those baseball scenes, my God, some of that stuff is just so funny.
Right.
It's hard to keep a straight face, but yeah, I would love to do. House of Cards ends this year, and I think, you know, what a treat it would be to go and do a half-hour show. You know, I would love to do a comedy. Love to.
Yeah. Well, it's out there, and I think, you know, I would not be surprised to be able to see you more in that. Again, everyone, Michael Kelly has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Michael. We've been talking to him not only about his journey as an actor, but also, of course, All Square is making its premiere at South by Southwest this year. Of course, if you do not have the schedule, South by Southwest is going to be taking place really soon. Make sure you all are making plans. You can go to the website at www.SXSW, SXSW.com. Again, that's SXSW.com. There you can see the full schedule, not only, of course, for the films, but also for the music as well. Make plans to be able to visit. And then, of course, as we mentioned, All Square will be making its premiere there, and then you can be able to keep up with it there as well. And, Michael, how can our audience stay connected with you and kind of keep up with what's next for you, too?
I'm on Instagram, I'm Real Michael Kelly, and on Twitter, I am Michael J. Kelly Jr.
All right. So make sure you're definitely staying connected with Michael. You'll find him all over the place. And, Michael, again, I really appreciate this and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Cyrus, my pleasure, buddy. Have a good one.
You do the same thing. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.